Oh.
Okay, I think I'm here. Is everybody else here?
Yes.
Anybody else hear me? Or?
Good afternoon, Karina.
Hello, is that Sarah?
It is Sarah.
Hello. Hi, it's Stacy. Hi.
Good afternoon, Counselor.
I think, okay, I'm seeing people click on and off mute, so this is great. So it's 12 o'clock exactly, so I think we'll just go ahead and get started for the sake of time. And a couple people emailed they might be late or might be getting off early, so we'll just wait and see how that works out. And we'll at some point we'll put everyone will go to mute, but for right now we'll do introductions. So I just stay as it is now. But thank you so much, everyone, first and foremost, for your participation. I had an overwhelming response. It was a great response. I was super humbled by that. So thank you for wanting to be a part of this work. My name is Karina Pereira. I'm with West Hills Community College District. There's a couple of other people on the call from West Hills, from our Kalinga office. Sarah Shep, from our Kalinga campus is Shara Seppard. She's lead faculty for business. And Brian Crone is lead faculty for business at our Moore campus, and he should be signing on here as well. And then Linda Mount. Excuse me? Somebody? Okay. And then Linda Mount with Division of Apprenticeship Standards is also on the Zoom today. And she'll be providing us some guidance, taking some notes as well. And a couple other people, I believe, are also on the call from the DAS, which is the acronym for Division of Apprenticeship Standards for the state. And so my job at West Hills Community College District is to help to develop apprenticeship programs for the colleges in the district, and then coordinate what that looks like between the colleges and the employers or industry partners, and then streamline along with the college administrators and faculty courses that are applicable to apprentices in these apprenticeship programs. So our current initiative that we're talking about today on this call is a statewide human resources professional program, which many of you have agreed to be on this committee for the development of this program. And those of you who choose to also participate in this program, you can continue on after we put these program standards together and get them submitted and approved by the state. I appreciate anyone who wants to stay on the committee as an advisory committee, especially if you're going to be looking at maybe employing an apprentice or working with an individual in your organization as an HR apprentice. Your participation would be obviously helpful in continuing this program and sustaining the program for the long haul. And we hope that West Hills Community College District and our colleges will be providing the courses for this program. We're working on how we can do that statewide, offering the business courses tied to this program online. So that is our hope and anticipation by providing this program opportunity to employers statewide. So currently, I'm not aware of an HR apprenticeship program. So this will be the first of its kind, as far as we know, at least in the state. And then hopefully we could look at perhaps grant funding to provide some supplementary courses or other administrative support as we go along. So this program is definitely here to serve you, and it requires an industry to help to develop it in the way that it makes sense for industry. So that's first and foremost. And so going on these calls will help us to form or formulate what this is going to look like, and that's why all of your input is so important. So I think today what we'll be doing is just doing a review of the program and the way the standards are in statute. And then our following meetings, we will work to, as a committee, approve the different sections as they pertain to industry. So, and I'll get a little bit more into that as we go along. So I think first on our agenda is perhaps just some introductions, and I'd love to hear from each of you what, and I already know, but everyone else might not. So your name, maybe your title, and then just perhaps a short purpose of why this was important to you to join in on this project. And if you'd like, you know what, I actually have a list here. It may not be here if you can see my screen. These are the folks that had chose to again join in these efforts. So I'll just go down the list, and if you're on this call, your own introduction. So Katie, are you on the call?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Katie Rhodes. I'm a talent acquisition manager at Oleum, which is a global agriculture and food processing company with U.S. headquarters actually here in Fresno. So we're really, at Oleum interested in getting involved in the community and creating new and innovative talent pipelines for a lot of our hard to fill positions. And I thought this would be a good route to be able to have really great feedback into directly what we might be looking for as employers in the Valley when hiring HR generalists and specialists in our community.
Great. Thank you, Katie, for being here. And then Deborah Caruso, are you on the call? Deborah? Or is it Debbie? City of Los Angeles? No? I'm hearing something, but. Okay, I'm not quite sure. Okay, Albert, are you on the call?
I am.
Oh, great. Albert, do you want to introduce yourself? And
Sure. So my name is Albert Zuniga. I'm currently working in talent acquisition, work for Apple One. We're a nationwide company. We currently have about 200 offices nationwide, and then we also have a presence in international bases as well. And one of our reasons is to get involved here in the community. We have a really great summer internship program for people that are looking to get into HR or on the technical side or any other industry that they might have some interest in. And we wanted to expand our programs here locally and get involved with the community. But I think we do a great job with being part of different organizations here locally in Fresno. But this is just adds to our list. And I'm originally from Coalinga, so it's great to be part of this part of the program.
oh, thank you. Glad to have you. So if anybody as we go down the list, if you end up getting a better connection or you want to, I'll come back to you afterwards. I guess I'm just referring to Deborah because I'm still feeling like she's on the call, but maybe not getting. I'm not sure. Okay, Marissa Trejo, are you here? I think Marissa said she might not make it. Okay, Melissa Soto.
Hi, Melissa Soto, Employee Relations Manager with Fresno EOC, Community Action Agency here in Fresno. And my purpose for joining is just I was actually just excited about the opportunity to see how this whole thing, develops.
Great. Well, I'm happy to have you. So,
Thank you.
thank you for that. Stacy Barnier?
Hi, everybody. So I'm Stacey Barnier. I'm the Director of Human Resources and Risk Management for the San Bernardino County Employees Retirement Association. And I've also been on the board of our local SHRM chapter for the last 3 years. So I think that the connection between SHRM and HR students is really important. I also worked in higher education where I was a part of the Joint Apprenticeship Training Committee for our trades workers. So I've kind of done this for a different industry and would love to be able to do it for HR folks because I think there's a lot of paths. So I think the apprenticeship will be really important as we're growing our industry.
I'm so glad to hear that. That's definitely why we're here. I want to first and foremost make sure everyone has a need. There's enough of a need to make this sustainable. So thanks. Tamika, are you on the call?
Hi, I am on the line. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Can you turn the volume up?
Okay, let me see. Is this better?
Not really. That's okay. It's a little faint, but go ahead.
Okay. My name is Tamika Glover. I'm the Chief HR Officer with Counseling for Kids. And when I saw this opportunity on LinkedIn, I wanted to be a part just because I remember what my journey was like in getting into HR. So I think that this is a wonderful program for kids in the summer.
Thank you. I'm glad you were able to call in. I'm really happy to have everyone, obviously, but thank you so much. This will be interesting for everyone, I think. Felicia?
Hi, everyone. My name is Felicia Dura. I'm with the Orange County Employees Retirement System. We recently launched a volunteer program, and we are looking to get back into the community. I myself also partner with a number of organizations just as being part of the community to assist youth with trying to make that connection with employers and the youth within a community. So those are my two reasons for being able to, or hopefully being part of this program.
Great. Fantastic. Lisa Bechtel, are you on the call?
Yes, hi. I'm Lisa Bechtel. I am a Senior Labor Relations Specialist with PG&E, and I have worked in human resources for over 20 years, supporting various areas of developing human resources employees, as well as working in partnership with business and education, and look forward to providing insight into this apprenticeship program.
Well, at least I need to change your title.
and my last name. It's actually the T comes after the H. Sorry, it's one of those just interesting German last names. Thank you.
Okay, and Carla, are you on the call?
I am on the phone. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. I'm Carla Epperson. I am the Director of Human Resources currently for Ashley Furniture. My purview is 7 states, so I have all of the West region, but I have experience in both the public and private sectors. I, like Stacy earlier mentioned, I also sit on a board for SHRM. I sit on a national board for them for ethics and a couple other disciplines that we also oversee. I'm excited to be here, so thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. I'm just excited to help drive our profession forward.
Fantastic. I'm so glad to have SHRM people on the call. This is great because I want to make sure it aligns with what the requirements are, especially with the designations that are out there, and we'll be talking a lot about that as we go along. And so where are we at? We're at Debbie. I see you're there.
Hi, I am Debbie Veloso. I'm the Human Resource Manager with Ventura Coastal in Visalia. And I was interested in learning, one, more about apprenticeship building overall, and two, we've had some challenges actually finding recruits, bringing them into the organization. And so I think this is a great opportunity to build a talent pool for the Valley.
Fantastic. Me too. Great. Okay, Abigail.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
My name is Abigail Rivera. I am the manager of labor relations here for Tenet Healthcare. I'm assigned to the Emmanuel Medical Center Hospital in Turlock. The reason why I am interested in being part of this is because I think it's a great opportunity for a lot of up-and-coming HR professionals that are starting their career. I've been in HR for 15 years, and I truly wish they would have had some type of apprenticeship when I first started because it's a huge learning curve. And then two, I'd like to give back to the community and make sure that we start engaging others in our field because some people don't even know exactly what we do.
I absolutely agree. So thank you for that. I think there's definitely room for middle skilled HR professionals, and I think if I could just let everyone know, what we've faced here in our particular region is especially working with our food manufacturing plants out in the rural areas, is that it wasn't necessarily a need so much for someone right out of college with a bachelor's degree in HR, but more of those middle skills and some perhaps business and HR courses to supplement the learning, to supplement the on-the-job training that was taking place. So that's our purpose of trying to develop an apprenticeship program, is maybe not necessarily a need for management level HR folks, but something more in the middle and on a start or on the track to something that career field. Teresa. Oh, Teresa, are you there?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me? Okay. Sorry, got something in my throat. My name's Teresa Parra. I'm the Director of People Operations at O'Neill Vintners and Distillers. And so I have, I was also on the advisory committee and founding committee, I guess you could say, for a maintenance apprenticeship program that was developed about a year and a half ago in the Valley, and it's been great partnering with the state of California on that, as well as State Center Community College District. So us, along with several other sort of like manufacturing / food related, some not, production type companies in the Valley kind of got together and kicked off a maintenance apprenticeship program because we had a real need. We were really struggling to find folks for our maintenance teams. So it was a great experience to kind of learn how the standards work and learn how to work together with community college and with the state of California apprenticeship program folks and other HR and other leaders around the Valley. So I was honored when Karina reached out and happy to be on another committee for. I think it's wonderful to have the thought even was great to have an HR apprenticeship program. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, Teresa, I know you have some experience, and you and I have known each other now for a little while, at least as far as out in the industry. And yes, and I used to work for the Division of Apprenticeship Standards and putting these programs together. And so it's obviously a passion of mine, and I am just thrilled to see that you are part of the development of that multi-employer program up in the Fresno area. So thank you for being on this call as well and sharing your knowledge in apprenticeship with us.
Yep, you're welcome.
And then I'm gonna, well, you know what? I got somebody in the. Okay, that's okay. We'll get to Jackie here in a minute. So hang in there, Jackie. And I had, excuse me, on LinkedIn, I received a couple of messages from some individuals that were HR interns, and they wanted to ask if they could also be a part of this development. I thought that was kind of interesting, and it could also really help us informing what individuals are looking to learn in their jobs since they're currently working as interns in this field. So is Alex on the call? Alex Martinez? And what about, is it Jorge Espinoza? Oh, Okay. Well, obviously they're hard at work being interns right now. And then Jackie Wigner, are you there?
I am here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Oh, you don't have to show it to your picture, but that's great. Thanks.
Is it what?
You have us on, you might want to mute your camera or, so that's okay.
Mute.
I'm happy to see your face. There you go.
Oh no, I think she muted her voice.
Oh, no, you muted the voice instead of the face.
Okay. Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe if I take your screen off.
That's okay.
Okay. Hi, everybody. My name is Jacqueline Wigner. I currently am working with Robert Half, but I do work out at West Hills College, and I have been in the human resource industry for a little over 7 years. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Oh, okay. It was a little bit of cracking going on earlier, and I was messing with it, so I was trying to get rid of that. But I look forward to being part of the apprenticeship as well. Karina, thank you for inviting me. I look forward to learning and growing in human resource. I've been in the industry for quite a few years, and I always love to really explore in human resource and try to gain as much, knowledge as I possibly can with the laws that are constantly moving. And so I'm really interested in going through the program, but also being part of it and, meeting people and networking, and hope to at least try and get my PHR and study for that. So that's kind of where I'm at, and just staying busy in the whole human resource field.
Well, fantastic. I'm looking forward to learning more about the different exams and designations, and that was part of the reason why I reached out to you, as you know, so that we can make sure we're complementing with the apprenticeship and those particular designations and exams in this process. So thanks. And Randy K, are you there? Randy, are you there? Okay, that's okay. And then I know Sarah's on the call. Are you still with us, Sarah?
I am. Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Shepard, and I'm a business faculty member at West Hills College, Coalinga. Very excited to be here and looking forward to see what the college can do to support you in your businesses.
And then is Brian Crone, are you on the call, Brian? No?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. Hi, Brian.
Hello.
You want to introduce?
I guess I'm Sarah's counterpart at Lemoore, and I think anything that could give a student a path or maybe some experience before they get a degree, or ability to make pay while they get a degree, would be something that would really help. So.
Well, thank you for joining us, Brian. I know you're super busy, and both of our faculty are, and that was part of it was a lot of the reason why I wanted to put this call on at noon, because our faculty teaches classes throughout the day and sometimes at night, and noon is oftentimes the best time for them to get involved. So thanks for making the time. And then
You're welcome.
Thank you. And then Linda, did you want to say hi?
Sure, hi. I'm Linda Mount. I'm Strategic Business Advisor with the Division of Apprenticeship Standards, and I'm here to help and advise and be a part of this. And thank you for including me.
You're welcome. We need you. And then Deborah Cariso, did you end up getting on the call? No. Is there anyone else on the call that wants to introduce themselves before we get started? I see Cal. Cal, are you on the call? He's on mute. Well, he may not want to introduce himself. That's fine. So Cal Saturn is also with the Division of Apprenticeship Standards in the Fresno Regional Office, and it looks like he's on the call today. Well, we'll just go ahead and move forward, but I think that's very helpful that everybody knows who's on the call and who wants to participate. And if any of you know other people that want to join in, we are recording this session, so I can share this recording. Hopefully, if I can figure out how to do that, I will record. I will send the recording out so that you can share it with any colleagues if you feel they may have an interest as well in future or in participating as we move along. So today on the agenda, and feel free everyone to mute yourselves, and then you know what we'll do is as we move through the program standards and you find questions, because I'm going to go through as pretty quickly only because we're limited on time, but I'm going to go through the program standards here in a moment after I explain the process of approval. But you may have questions, and you can feel free to put those questions in the chat box. And then what we'll do is we'll just, and again, this is for the sake of time, but what we'll do is we'll try to answer. I will try to answer, and Linda will try also to answer those questions as we start to close. And then what we don't get to, and we may not get to any of them, we'll find out. We will create like a Q&A, and then we'll send that out to all of you so all questions are answered in some sort of written format. So you will get some, we'll move along from there, and you'll have all the information you need. So if you also need to jump off the call in the next half hour, that's fine too. Again, you'll receive an email with what you need to know what all took place today and all the answers to questions. And always feel free to email me any other questions as well, because I don't know all the time what I'm not covering. I just know what I do cover. The process of registered apprenticeship approval, and so some of you may or may not have ever worked within the apprenticeship area, and so just to give you an idea, well, and first of all, you are going to learn through this process the next couple of months what an apprenticeship looks like. So don't feel like you're kind of out of the loop, and it doesn't make a difference, because as we come to a close on the actual standards and get them submitted, everybody's going to be pretty close to being an expert at this. For those that don't feel so confident about that at the moment, so I'm not real worried about it. I think it is a process, and so. I just appreciate everybody's input, and any questions are always good questions. So feel free to ask whatever you need to. But in the registered apprenticeship program approval process, first thing that takes place is forming a actual committee, and that's what we've done here today. And in the past couple of weeks is decided how that committee, or who's going to be a part of that committee. And again, it can grow. But forming the committee is the first step, and so thank you for being here today for that. Those of you, and I may have said this earlier, who want to remain on the committee after the program gets approved for the sake of oversight, or maybe you want to host an apprentice, hire an apprentice, you can certainly stay on the program, stay on the committee. We absolutely need you. Those of you who feel that you just wanted to be part of the development stage and have that as maybe a feather in your cap, or whatever that needs to look like for you, we are thrilled to have you for that as well. So thank you. Second step in the process of approval is approving the program standards as a committee. And so what myself and Linda Mount have done is developed, and also our faculty at our colleges, both Sarah and Brian have had some input into this as far as the courses and some of the training. But the process of approving the standards as a committee. So in the next meetings, what we'll be doing is looking at various sections of the standards after our initial review today, and then we'll move to approve certain sections as we go along until we've approved the entire package. And then the next step is we submit that to DAS. So Linda Mount on the call, Linda will take the approved standards, and she will do the input she needs to do to get them sent off to her headquarters department, and then approved in their department and posted, and there's a little process there. And then maybe after a couple of months, we'll have a registered apprenticeship program with the state of California. And so the last step is just to begin the process of administering the program. And again, that's everyone on this committee's decision whether they want to stay on the committee to administer the program. And it will also, at any time at that point, other people can, other employers who want to hire an apprentice can be on, be in that committee. And we'll talk more and more about that as we go along. So reviewing the program draft standards. So this is what the draft looks like today. Hopefully everyone can see my screen.
I can.
Great. And then this is what our table of contents looks like. It includes the only 3 forms that employers will ever need. They'll be here to employ an apprentice. And we'll look at those forms as well. And then there's different sections that are required by the DAS. So we'll go one by one. And again, this is where it's good to have your questions handy in the chat box as we go through this. So apprenticeship standards are developed with articles, sort of like articles of incorporation. And that is in this type of program, which is a multi-employer program. So a single employer program, the program standards look a little different, but in this case, what we're doing here and what this language looks like is pretty much what's required in the statute, in the California Code of Regulations. So the purpose and policy and how it references the Shelley-Maloney Apprentice Labor Standards Act. And then the craft, trade, and occupation is the human resources professional. And that may be a variety of different titles depending on the employer. But for the purpose of this program, we'll just call it the professional. I think that it's all encompassing of the various occupations. However, this could be something we could talk about later in changing. That is a committee decision, not my decision. So again, a draft, and that's why I would love all of your input on how we can make this make more sense as far as how industry sees it. Let's see, and then here, let's see, this is language that just separates this program from building and construction trades programs. There's some internal DAS reasons why this needs to be here, and I think it's pretty much, it allows us to stay away from like prevailing wages and certain other labor code requirements. And then Article 3 is the organization of the committee. And what this looks like is covering all 58 counties. That way, if we find an employer up in, say, I don't know, Shasta or down in El Centro, it covers their area as well and covers the apprentice in any of those counties. I especially like including all counties because you might have, in Fresno County, just for example, we've got a lot of people that do commuting from county to county. So if a business is in Tulare County, but the apprentice lives in Kings County, they're covered either way. Let's see. And then some of the other ways that this organization might work is, number 1, the committee shall consist of not less than 4 members who would represent their employer organizations. We can certainly increase this number, but 4 is, makes it so that sometimes if we didn't have 4 people at a meeting, it's less likely we'll have issues with having a proxy or having a full committee to vote on matters. And then number 2, the committee will consist of having a college faculty person and an apprenticeship consultant representing the DAS, and then 1 advisor representing the local education agency. That would probably look like myself. And then any other such advisors the committee shall determine. And then these advisors, anyone in section 2, act without a vote. We are not officers. We are here to help guide and administer the program. And then this attachment is the attachment that you saw earlier with the list of all of the individuals on the committee. And then members are appointed to the committee on a first-come, first-served basis and serve for a 2-year term, which may be extended year to year. We'll have an annual election of officers to be held at each first meeting of each calendar year. and then what that might consist of. All of this we can make some changes to if we need to. I'm not sure how you'd like that to look, but this is where your input is really helpful. And then we won't begin the work on electing officers until after these program standards are approved by the state. And then number 4, members shall meet quarterly at minimum. A quorum must be present to carry on the regular business of the committee, and the quorum, here's what I meant to say earlier. So a quorum shall consist of 3 members. So it is possible that we might just meet twice a year. It's really going to depend on how many apprentices are in the program that are out there among all of you or among others, and what matters might be coming up that the committee might feel a meeting is required or necessary. And then number 5, we will be developing some rules and regulations at some point down the road. We'll be talking about that as we go along. And then in those particular meetings that we're having in the future in this committee, apprentices can address the committee by submitting a request. And then for each employer participating in the program, an employer subscription agreement, one of those forms that I showed you earlier, we'll be looking at it momentarily in this attachment F, but that particular form is where an employer would want to subscribe to the program so that they can hire an apprentice of their own and put that apprentice through the program. And then this next article is jurisdiction, which says it's basically taking in everything we're about to go over. And then Article 5 is the functions. So this is the functions of those of us in the apprenticeship committee, especially going forward after the program is approved. Serving in the advisory capacity with employers and employees, developing an efficient program of apprenticeship through the on-the-job training and the instruction, which is the classes, and the periodic evaluation of apprentices, making periodic evaluations of their on-the-job training. I don't know why this repeats itself, but it's a template, so we'll just go with it. Establish a mechanism to be used for the rotation of apprentice from work process to work process. And this is very flexible, so we'll talk about it more as we go along into the work processes, but it is a flexible, I think it's pretty stringent among building trades, but for non-traditional programs, we can certainly understand that certain people already have skills built in one area and not necessarily in another, so we have to allow some flexibility in work processes. And what I'm saying may make more sense later than it does now, so just bear with me. Aiding in the adjustment of apprenticeship disputes and following fair and impartial selection procedures. And so in this type of apprenticeship structure, all of the employers will maintain their own selection procedures. We will not be requiring a certain type of selection. This doesn't look like a building trades program where folks out of work sign into their union hall, when they're out of work, looking for a placement, nothing like that. This is various employers hiring their own employee and putting them through the program, but they are, in fact, their own employee for the duration of the program. And so that your selection procedures are your own. And then if anyone has any questions regarding that and anything else, again, just feel free to put questions in the chat box. And then responsibilities. Responsibilities of the committee: supervising the administration and enforcement of the standards, adopting rules and regs, and we'll be doing that after the program is approved, not before. But rules and regs may be just something as much as something that might include, if an apprentice is failing classes, what do we do? Or if an apprentice is skipping classes, what do we do? It could be it could be something that's 10 pages. I've seen them even in the building trades. I've even seen rules and regs look like a book. And then it could be something as far as a page or 2 pages, and it's always evolving as well. So as we come across different issues that might come about, maybe 2 years down the road, 4 years down the road, you never know what's going to happen. And then we'll go, oh, maybe that's something we need to adopt into the rules and regs. Number 3, conducting orientations, workshops, other educational sessions for employers to explain the apprenticeship program standards and the operation of the program. So as the program manager, this might be something that's more my function as I do outreach to add employers to the program, and passing on the qualification of employers under its jurisdiction and when appropriate to suspend or withdraw approval. So if an employer decides to withdraw from the program, just having forms and a procedure for that, and that will be some of the things I will work on. Conducting ongoing evaluation of the interest and capacity of employers to participate in the program and train apprentices on the job. Again, something that may fall more into my area, and also perhaps DAS. Determining if an employer has worksite facilities, skilled workers as trainers at the worksite, and equipment sufficient to train apprentices. This is the responsibility of employers and the committee. Passing on the qualification of apprentice applicants, filing a signed copy of the agreement for the apprentice. That's a form we'll be looking at in a moment, that the apprentice signs, agreeing that they understand that the requirements of the apprenticeship. Establishing and maintaining a record system for on-the-job training and instruction, using every effort to keep the apprentice employed in a reasonably continuous manner and adequately instructed. So we do want to continue to, when we're going to start an apprentice, we want to be able to finish them, because what might happen, and it will happen, and it's not inevitable, but I feel like it's, it is possible, and I've seen it happen, where an apprentice ends up being terminated or perhaps laid off from a job, and they'll never be able to go back and complete their apprenticeship and get their state certificate. It does happen, but we're going to make every effort that we can for it not to. And so sometimes that might look like, if you're an employer and you've got an HR apprentice and you have to do some downsizing, is there another employer who might be able to pick that person up and continue their apprenticeship? So it may be where we have resources for that sometime down the road. Provide disciplinary procedures for apprentices, including provisions for fair hearings. So what that might look like is if an apprentice is having a difficult time picking up the skills that that you hired them to learn, it may be that we need to discuss what that disciplinary procedure might be, and have that individual attend the meeting and explain, and give us some thought of his or hers as to what he or she would like to do. And so this is all conversation that we may have at some point. Adopting changes to these standards, subject to the approval of the parties and the DAS. Implementing the program for training and education regarding illegal discrimination and sexual harassment. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Preparing and submitting a self-assessment review and program improvement plan. These are DAS requirements. So annually, as the program manager, I might submit those items and on an annual basis, and I may be asking the committee for their input, because some of it will require that. Let's see, overseeing the program's ability, including financial ability and commitment to meet and carry out its responsibilities. Now, there's not a whole lot of financial concern we need to worry about now, as West Hills Community College or our colleges have agreed to waive the tuition for the courses that we choose for this program. And but later we may look at some grant funding to help supplement some of the other costs, maybe books, things like that. And we could talk as a committee about what sorts of things we would like to see covered if we were to get a grant. That would be helpful too. And then the definition of an apprentice. So here's where we can decide what the age would be, but keep in mind, we all know the legal ramifications of age discrimination. So I think what we want to know here is, do we want to move it to 16 years of age, 17 years of age, or keep it at 18 years of age? So that's the only thing we may want to touch on later, if anyone has any input for that. But typically it's 18 years of age. And then duties of the apprentice. So now the apprentice will be expected to go to school. And I want to make clear that the way that labor code and code of regulations in California read are that the instruction that the student is receiving, their job depends on it, and the employer is protected in such a way that you do not have to put the education within the workday. So the individual is still required to go to school, but it doesn't have to be within the workday. You do not have to pay them during the time that they are in school. And this is all sort of part of how registered apprenticeship works. So if you have a regular apprenticeship program and it's not registered with the state, none of those rules apply. But a registered program, there are these nice caveats, right? So, I just wanted to point that out since we were talking about this part right here. Apprentice Agreement is the form we'll be talking about here in a moment, but it's where the apprentice acknowledges what they're expected to do in this program, to include going to school and learning the different skills that we set forth for them, and they'll be furnished a copy of that agreement form. Termination and transfer. This talks a little bit about the probationary periods, and we'll need to discuss what we can do to try to transfer an individual if it's necessary, but it's probably not something we'll need to be thinking about for quite some time. Related supplemental instruction. This is one of the documents in a future meeting we'll be talking about and approving. So we'll get into that here when we see the form. And then layoff gives some information here about canceling the apprentice if there's a layoff, credit for related instruction. One thing that we tried to do in the development of this program is put 4 credit courses together that all lead to that all lead to an Associate of Science degree in business administration, so that if the individual was laid off or something changed for them, that they still have these units toward a degree that is transferable to another community college, and perhaps even in most cases also transferable to a university. And no liability on the part of the employer, the program committee, for an injury sustained by an apprentice who is engaged in schoolwork at a time when the apprentice is unemployed. So just giving us some room there. And then the adjustment for controversies. And then we've got term of apprenticeship and probation. And so in that B attachment, which we're taking a look at, each of these sections we'll be trying to discuss in future meetings. Today was more of just giving an overview of what the standards looks like, and then answering your questions in relation to these draft standards. Let's see, safety and health. And then this includes illegal discrimination, bullying, and sexual harassment. We'll be getting to that in a moment. And then no form of harassment shall be tolerated. But again, we have a whole entire attachment for this. And then the certificate of completion, which what this is a state certificate of completion that the individual will get when they complete their hours and their education. And they'll also receive what is considered in the field a journeyman card, so an actual card that can be laminated and they can carry around. And so between industry, you'll know if you were to, maybe perhaps one day you'll see this is where I'm hoping it'll get to anyway. One day you might get a resume for an HR analyst position that you've posted, and they would be able to provide you with documentation that they completed an HR apprenticeship program, and they have this card or this completion certificate. And if we are the program in the state that's been designated, it'll be nice for everyone to know, oh, I know that program very well, and oh, this person, this card validates that they've done 4,000 hours in this occupation. So there's some validation that comes with that, and that's why I like this model. And then what we can do here is decrease the term of apprenticeship for any individual, not more than 12.5%. And this is if you have an advanced person. But that does not mean that you can't, like I have companies now that have HR folks within their company, and this is in our own service area, and they've been working in the HR office for some time, sometimes a year, 2 years, 3 years, and you can still in this program take your own individuals and give them credit into the program. And that might mean, okay, well, you need the classes and, obviously, or maybe you will have some classes, so we credit the classes and time. It's very flexible. So it's just a matter of working through what that looks like for each individual. So we can certainly give them some credit time as well as decrease their time. And an apprentice, here, just what I already said, maybe credited time for previous experience. They have to be in the program for not less than 6 months. That is going to be the requirement that DAS gives us. So if it's a 2-year program we're working on here, and that individual has been working already in that position for some time, it's quite possible they can finish their classes in 6 months. Maybe they have already got some of those classes done in a prior life, and so you have to have that individual in the program for at least 6 months before you can complete them. And then the California Plan for Equal Opportunity and Apprenticeship is the final article in the template standards, these boilerplate standards from DAS. And we have an attachment for this, but what this does in this particular program type is allows each employer, as long as they're following regular EEO law, to just provide a pledge statement of that they meet those requirements, and that includes their selection procedures. And so, and then these documents get signed. And this is when these last signatures take place, it's because the program received its state approval. And so we'll quickly move on. We've got about 10 minutes, so we probably won't have time for questions to be answered on the call today, but we will certainly, and I don't see any questions on the chat right now. If you all have questions, start typing them in now, because you got about 9 minutes. So we can make sure I can get them addressed in an email. So this is the attachment A for the committee. This may grow, this may decrease over time, and that's okay. And then attachment B is this training schedule and working conditions. And so each of these articles in the training schedule, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, we will be trying to tackle in future meetings. So the next call we may look at, does this make sense for all of industry, to do a 4,000 hour or 2-year program, and this is the number of hours in the courses that we have in our catalog to provide you. And then what is the wage scale? What is this wage scale? What should it look like that makes sense for everyone? And it can get a little technical, so we'll avoid getting too much into the weeds on this right now. And some of this is standard verbiage. And then work training, these are the work processes that I just put these together as they were what was identified in ONET. So what I'd like to get in maybe a third meeting like this one is to really hone down on what that work training should look like, break down those amount of hours to master the skills in each of these areas. And then, but maybe, keep it somewhat vague, but yet make sure we're covering all aspects of the job. And then in the related instruction, this may be a final meeting, and we can include this ratio option here, but this is the courses that faculty and I sort of try to determine we would have the capacity to offer. And some industry partners currently already working in an HR apprenticeship program, a single employer program that we have in our service area, have also chose these courses. So we can expand on these perhaps, and we'll get more in depth on what some of the course outlines look like in these classes. And then attachment C is the local education letter. So this is just my pledge to the state that we will provide the courses. And I'm just going to move a little bit quicker because we're almost at noon. I mean, we're almost at 1 o'clock. And then attachment D is a no harassment policy. We may want to work on this policy a little bit just to make sure it covers everyone else's policy and not getting, not adding. I don't want any information here that doesn't already cover what any of the employer's harassment policy looks like. So I will be sending this draft document to all of you to review and make your own comments on, so we can discuss those in a future meeting. And then in attachment E is this equal opportunity pledge. So you're just pledging to recruit and select and employ and train apprentices without discrimination. And then that's signed by each employer. That's the first form. Second form is in attachment F, the employer subscription agreement, where the employer will, some of this will already be pre-filled for you, but the employer is agreeing that they will employ and train the apprentice according to the standards. And then each employer can agree. So if you're a new committee member or a new employer later, you can ask to be considered as an employer representative on the committee. And then us as a committee, since we were the initial committee, not me, but all of you, get to vote on that in a future meeting. And so then in attachment G is the apprentice agreement. And so this is where the apprentice signs that he understands or she understands the expectation and the requirements of the program. And that is it for what the program standards look like. So I will be forwarding this out to all of you so that, again, you can make comments and we can try to address each of the comments as we go along. And I see I'm getting some questions, so this is great, and I'll try to address those. Okay, and it may be, Lisa, just for the sake of your question on business law, I think I did have an apprentice already take this class, and she provided some of that, of what she learned in that class and how it might apply to the job that she's doing in HR. So maybe when we get to the meeting regarding the instruction, we can have her on the call and explain what some of these classes did for her. So I do have an apprentice currently in this program that's took, I think, 3 of these courses and is currently in a 4th one. And so she can provide some insight to that, and we can make some decisions based on that. And so that's for the program standards. And I think for the, thank you, Lisa. And I think for the last part of the agenda in the last couple of minutes here, what we'll probably be doing, if it's okay with all of you, is going over parts of as much as we can accomplish anyway, in the training schedule and working conditions. So I'm thinking that might look like this first page on this attachment B. The term of apprenticeship and probation and the wages and wage schedule. And it can be different for everyone, but we need some sort of minimum wage that everybody agrees to. That's according to the state. And that might be minimum wage, I'm not sure. You can always pay an apprentice more than minimum wage, you just can't pay them less. So, or at least the wage we state here on the document. So we can all discuss that in the next meeting. So if you are interested in being part of that conversation, I urge you to try to be in that call. And I guess what I need to know from everyone is what is a good meeting time. It did look like we had a huge number of people on this call during this meeting time, so I feel good about this. But if this doesn't work for everyone, please let me know, and we'll be recording these meetings so that those people can catch up who need to and can provide comments. And maybe in the agendas we can start each meeting off with 5 minutes on those folks that weren't in the prior call who had questions that we could address. And then maybe what I could get from all of you right now is, and you can take yourselves off mute if you'd like, and let me know when a next meeting date might work well for you, or a couple meeting dates. Or would you prefer I just send out a new doodle poll and we stick to the noon meeting time?
I prefer the poll.
Okay, sounds good. I could do a poll for sure.
Well, prefer the poll.
Okay, I'll send out a doodle poll. And then what worked for me in the past is to schedule like the next 3 meetings all in one poll. So this way, or maybe I'll do 3 polls and send them all at once for the 3 meetings where we're looking at each of the articles we want to discuss. That way people can sort of get their calendars already adjusted for those meetings down the road, and we're not going from meeting to meeting trying to establish when the next meeting date is. Does that work for everyone? I don't want to inundate.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so I don't want to inundate your email, but what I'll probably just do then is send out 3 Doodle polls. Doodle doesn't let me do it all at once, so I'll send out 3 Doodle polls, and then I'll just, in the subject, it'll be 1 for each of the areas we want to target. Yes? Yes, okay. Anybody else have any other input on that works better? I'm just suggesting, really. All right.
I think that'll work for everyone.
Okay, great. And feel free to take yourselves off mute if you have something to say. I'm not, it's fine. I like the chat, but
Karina, somebody mentioned that 12 o'clock was a good start time, so we might want to confer if 12 is good.
I think that works well for our faculty, so I really appreciate everyone being able to make that work for them as well. All right, so we're just at 1 o'clock. Wow, I can't believe it. And thanks again for everyone being in here. Does anyone have any other last words they'd like to say or ask before we end the call?
Just excited to be here.
I'm so excited. Yeah. Thank you. Would I miss anything?
Thanks for having me, Karina.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. I'll look for all of this information in your emails. Thanks again, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.